Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Martrich here with your outlook for March 1st, 2016, and we're going to start off on the mild side for the first day of the new month here, but we're going to also have an increase in clouds later in the day today. That's because we have the system here moving it's moving in from the Ohio Valley. It's going to move to our northwest here today. This is going to take a path that is not favorable for a wintry track. So this is going to take a path up like this. Being on that side of the low pressure system will allow mild air to stick around and come in ahead of it. So whatever mild air was around yesterday is not going to be quite as warm as it was yesterday or the previous day, but it will still be warm enough that and still in the 50s across much of our coverage area here, which will allow for rain to come in the overnight hours tonight. So we're going to move this a little bit forward here and show you where this is going, and that is just going to head up into northwest Pennsylvania. Eventually, it's going to head up into upstate New York. There was some speculation that once this moved up here and the precipitation lagging behind it would change this over to snow. I will allow for a couple flakes. That's about it. Nothing accumulating on the back end here. It looks like the cold air is not timed perfectly for this to change over and do anything at the very end here. So when we are going to have temperatures, they're going to be very mild overnight. As the front comes through here, it looks like the precipitation is going to be preceding the frontal boundary, and temperatures will begin to drop off. But I think that's after all the precipitation ends before you can get a real change to snow. Wouldn't be surprised to see a few flakes, however, at the very tail end, and that would be mainly for our central and northern areas. But Wednesday, whatever highs you have for the day are going to be early in the morning, and the temperature is going to steadily drop throughout the day. Your morning highs, your morning temperature is going to be the high for the day, and temperatures going to be falling through the 40s and 30s during the day here on Wednesday. And then we stay chilly here on Thursday. We then turn our attention to the next storm system coming in from the west. Now, there's two different systems here, and the models are handling this a little bit different. There's actually one that's up here, another one is down here. Okay, it's kind of like a too low look here, and this particular model is just kind of keying on this the southern one. I'm going to show you two different scenarios here. Now, this is for Thursday night into Friday. Okay, both show snow across our coverage area for most of our coverage area here, but one is more of a snow showers type deal, and the other one is a moderate snowfall or even significant snowfall for some areas in the other scenario here. First, this is the worst case scenario. I'll show you this right now, and this is what the models are taking one camp or the other right now. And the ensembles are pretty much split here between the aggressive and then you have some that are just the lighter. We no longer have a situation like we were showing yesterday, at least not at the time this video was recorded, that had a system just going out to sea like this and giving us absolutely nothing here. None of that scenario, none of those scenarios played themselves out on the model guidance today. This is the more aggressive one. This is the showing the Canadian model does have support from a few other models as well, but what generally happens is you have the energy to the north. Again, it's a too low system, so you have one up here, one down here. The first low is going to bring these light snow showers type thing. Okay, then the second one to the south is the coastal system. Once that first one rotates through, this one kind of meets up with this one offshore. Now the position track of this low will be critical in this situation. And if it does start to come up a little bit up the coast like the Canadian model suggests, it heads over the benchmark, you could get some coastal enhancement for eastern and southeastern areas, especially across New Jersey, right around the Delaware Valley, if that were to play out. I don't think it gets one of those deals where it gets all the way back to State College or Harrisburg or anything like that. You will get some snow showers from the first one, from that first low that comes through. But you can see what the Canadian model is doing here is really trying to wrap this up at the mouth of the Chesapeake here and head it off to the northeast. And what that does is bring some coastal enhancement that is not from that initial or the further north low that we were showing back here in the plains. This is all part of one system now and consolidated. And then as it moves up to the northeast, it whacks up the eastern and southeastern areas because it's taking more of a benchmark track here and rapidly intensifying. So that's the first scenario. Okay, so that's this is the Canadian model for the end of the week. Second scenario here, we'll look at the latest NAM here, and this is pretty much what the GFS is doing, and to some extent the European model, but it keeps the one low, it keeps them separate here. You have one low that's sitting right here over the Ohio Valley, another one is going to be off the map further to the south here. That one's going to be the eventual coastal that does not really take shape. As we move forward here, you can still even with that low remaining separate up here, you still have snow moving across our coverage area here. Now this is lighter snow, very light snow. It's also falling Thursday night, so you would have snow sticking to most surfaces. I wouldn't say it might not be on the paved surfaces. It's going to be really close, and temperatures will be really critical in determining that. But it's been so warm these couple days leading up to it. It's really going to have to come down harder in order for this to stick to the roadways, I think. We're getting into March now, higher sun angle. I know it's falling at night, but you still have the warm roadways right now, so it's really going to start coming down pretty good. And I don't think if these two lows stay separate, you don't have a coastal development down here, then we're not going to be able to get those heavier dynamics in order to get this really cranking here. So this one here in particular shows, again, one low sitting here, one down here, and this low is moving too far offshore. This is what, in many ways, this is kind of like what the European model did today. A little bit too far south, but it did have some lighter snows up north, just like the GFS is doing. So, and with the simulated radar, we can go over that too and show you what that looks like. You do see it falling as snow across a good portion of our coverage area here, exception being South Jersey and Delaware. Not really seeing too much, at least on this particular frame here. Everything is generally across most of Pennsylvania and central and northern New Jersey here for the snowfall to occur. So we're not looking at a lot of snow, even if that low stays separate. This is a simulated radar showing snow over much of Pennsylvania here, but I really don't see too much in this scenario here. If you did, it would be mostly non-paved surface accumulations. These would be generally a coating to an inch, maybe 1 to 2 in some areas. If in this scenario, if you have the coastal, you could end up with a 3 to 6, 4 to 8, maybe even more than that as you get closer to the shore points here, if the Canadian model is correct, and that's this one right here. So we have a lot of things to go over the next couple of days. Nothing's been ironed out just yet. We have a lot of different scenarios still on the table, and then we also have behind this system here on Saturday, another little clipper system diving down. This particular model is too thrilled with it, but there are some models that have persistent snow and or rain showers. That would be Saturday late afternoon, evening, and maybe in the overnight period, not amounting to much of anything at all. But this is going to, once this gets out of here, that's the last of our winter weather for a very long time, maybe for the season, as we get into some very, very warm temperatures as we get into next week. Matter of fact, it's looking like some of the long-range ensembles are indicating we might have to bust out the shorts as we get into later in the week, into the following weekend next week. So something we'll be looking forward to if you're looking for spring temperatures, but they're right around the corner, not too far off, and I'm talking about consistently warm as we get into next week once we get past this weekend. I'm Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Martrich. That is your outlook for March 1st, 2016. Have a great Tuesday.